Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Global AM News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Abu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. The All Progressive Congress, APC, has named Professor Natawe Yatwilda as the new national chairman following the resignation of Abdullahi Ganduje to health issues. Yelwada, currently Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and a former university don, emerged after a late-night meeting between President Tinubu and APC governors in Abuja. The party's National Executive Council has ratified its appointment. The People's Democratic Party, that is PDP, has scheduled its national convention for Saturday, November 15 to Sunday, November 16, 2025 in Ibadan, Oyo State. This was part of the resolution reached at the National Executive Committee NEC meeting held in Abuja. The NEC mandated the acting national chairman, Ambassador Umar Jamagu, and the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyangu, to officially write to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to notify it of the planned convention. Our correspondent, Ubong Usoro, reports.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, held its National Executive Committee meeting, NEC, in Abuja, with key party leaders in attendance to discuss unity, reconciliation, and preparation for the upcoming National Convention. The NEC also approved the membership of the National Convention Committee and the Zoning Committee aimed at ensuring a transparent and credible electoral process. The PDP National Chairman Umar Damogu expressed satisfaction with the resolution of internal disputes, describing it as a demonstration of PDP's commitment to dialogue and unity. He added that the party remains united, strong, and well-positioned to offer a credible alternative as an opposition party.
Members of POT, our commanders in the state, and our ex-officials who are present. Please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. It is with great pride and a deep sense of honor to welcome you to this 101 NEC meeting.
Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State and chairman of the PDP Governors Forum urged the gathering to strengthen efforts to rebuild the party across all levels. He reaffirms PDP's position as the only truly national party capable of providing credible leadership. Reading the communique at the end of the meeting, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Honorable Debo Olugodoya, reaffirms party's commitment to internal reforms and discipline. He announced the decision of the NEC to caution members against holding meetings with opposition parties and reminded them that the PDP remains the only credible and viable opposition platform in the country.
Sir, NEC expressed serious concern and frowns at the reported participation and involvement of the party members in the activities, meetings, and gathering of a lot of people. The elective national convention in the next set of national officers of our party will hold on Saturday, 15th to Sunday, 16th November 2025 in the Oyo State Capital.
The party further called on aggrieved members to return to its fold, emphasizing the importance of unity and strategic planning ahead of the 2027 general election. Ubong Usoro for Global TV.
The senators adjourned plenary to September 23, 2025, making the end of the current legislative year with a distinctive and directive to all committees to conclude work on pending reports ahead of redemption. Topsin Gimba has the details.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, made the announcement after a closed-door executive session that lasted for over an hour. He charged all standing and ad hoc committees to make effective use of 2-month break to finalize their assignments in order to ease legislative consideration and adoption upon resumption. In his earlier remarks, Senator Akpabio also encouraged lawmakers to use the recess period to inspect road construction projects in their constituencies and across the country.
The suspension is just plenary sittings. All ad hoc committees should continue to work. All necessary committees, the Diaspora Committee, Committee on Reparation, Committee on Interior, and others. This is the best time for you to undertake visits to prisons and all that. Do all your reports and make them available as soon as we come back. We'll have a special day to consider all reports. And then all the other committees, reports extended to you, you must also make sure that those reports are ready for Senate scrutiny when plenary commences. You are moving from plenary for the next few weeks, but you are not stopping your legislative functions.
Meanwhile, senators are expected to travel to Jos Plateau State on Friday to attend the burial of the wife of their colleague, Senator Dicket Plan, representing Plateau Central.
We will all converge at Jos to beat the wife of our colleague, the Senior Senator Dicket Plan, Mrs. Plan, farewell as she goes back to her Creator. May her soul once again rest in perfect peace.
The long recess is an annual break for countries practicing democracy around the world, which by its annual calendar ends in June of every legislative year. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
The Nigerian Senate has refuted recent social media claims that the Constitution Review Committee proposed creating 12 new states in Nigeria. Senator Abdul Neged, representing Bauchi Central, dismissed the report as false during plenary under Order 42, clarifying that the committee has neither received any zonal review report nor deliberated on state creation bills. Topsy Gimba has the details.
It is fake, is toxic, and is an irresponsible media outlet. So it is important, Mr. President, to take this matter to Nigerians that the Senate has not, for now, sat on any committee's report from the zonal levels. The main committee is yet to even received.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, also expressed concern about the spread of such misinformation, highlighting it.
The Federal Republic of Nigeria has not even concluded the processes of getting a final report for deliberation on constitutional amendment, and therefore no single state, proposed or otherwise, has been created. And even if that were to be the case, it will involve all the houses or assemblies in the country, and we must get their 2/3 concurrence before anything can come back to us.
Further clarifications emphasized that the ongoing constitutional review involves public hearings across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones, gathering suggestions, including requests for new states and local government areas, but no formal decisions or approvals have been made by the Senate or its committee. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
The Senate has held a solemn special plenary session in honor of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari, who passed away on July 13, 2025. The motion was sponsored by the Senate's leader, Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele Ekiti Central, who described Buhari as a gallant soldier, accomplished Democrat, and a patriotic whose life symbolizes discipline, service to the nation. Topsy Gimba has the details.
In his lead debate, Bamidele recounted Buhari's extensive legacy from his birth on December 17, 1942 in Daura, Katsina State to his military training in Kaduna, India and the United States. Late Buhari rose through the military ranks, serving during the Nigerian Civil War and holding several key national positions, including military governor of the old northeastern state. Federal Commissioner for Petroleum, Chairman of the NNPC, and eventually Head of State following the 1983 coup. The Senate noted his disciplined leadership style during his military regime and later his historic democratic journey that saw him becoming president in 2015 under the All Progressives Congress APC and his re-election in 2019. Senator Bamidele also highlighted Buhari's numerous national and international awards, including the GCFR and decorations from several African and European countries. He also pointed out his role in establishing the Petroleum Trust Fund (PTF) and championing massive infrastructure investments during his tenures.
As I move this motion today, I am reminded of the transcendent nature of the human life. However, our consolation is that our former president led a successful and fulfilled life, both as a gallant and courageous soldier who rose to the peak of his career as a military officer and also as a successful Democrat.
During the session, lawmakers took turns to eulogize the late president.
But one thing that remained clear and in line with the preponderance of opinion of Nigerians is that President Buhari was a man of integrity, a highly principled person.
There are very few Nigerians who have the privilege and the honor and the mercy and grace that God gave to Buhari to lead and serve a great nation like Nigeria, and he served for the full 8-year tenure and retired back home. Very few Nigerians, the great honor that God gave him.
Mr. President, as many of us have said, was a man of integrity. Not only that, he was a very, very humble person.
President Buhari, for now, is still the most celebrated president even after death. You could see the way the state burial was arranged, which was the most elaborate and the most expensive state burial we have ever witnessed since 1960.
The chamber resounded with bipartisan reflections on Buhari's controversial but impactful leadership, with lawmakers agreeing that his memory will endure for generations. The session ended with a final moment of silence as lawmakers stood in reverence for the departed leader. Topsy Gemba reporting for Global Television News.
In a related development, the House of Representatives has held a valedictory section in honor of Nigeria's former president, Muhammadu Buhari, who passed away on July 13, 2025 at the London Clinic in the United Kingdom. House of Representative correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
It was a solemn moment on the floor of the House of Representatives as lawmakers pay glowing tributes to the late former President Muhammadu Buhari. Leading the session, Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu described Buhari as a man of rare integrity, humility, and unwavering commitment to national service. Deputy Speaker Honorable Kalu also highlighted key legislative achievements under Buhari's administration, including the Not Too Young to Run Act 2018, the Petroleum Industry Act and Climate Change Act 2021, the Electoral and Anti-Money Laundering Act 2022, as well as the 2023 Constitutional Amendment on prisons, railways, and electricity.
President Buhari's tenure as president from 2015 to 2023 was a period of unprecedented legislative productivity, a demonstration of his willingness to collaborate with the 8th and 9th assemblies. Under his watch, 129 bills were signed into law, an impressive legislative record. These were transformative laws that address long-standing challenges and reshape Nigeria's legal framework.
Lawmakers from across party lines extolled his contributions to Nigeria's democratic development, particularly his commitment to anti-corruption, national unity, and institutional reforms.
In his own words, I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. This singular statement captures the essence of service to Nigeria.
He also made a foray into the electoral and democratic reforms when he signed the Electoral Act 2022, which introduced the electronic transmission of results. He didn't also stop there. He also made achievements in the petroleum sector reforms.
Death is something that will come to us all, and it's time for us as leaders to reflect and do what is right by this country. President Buhari had his flaws like we all do, but he will continue to be someone we all look up to and someone that we will love to live half of his life.
He's a very good man, very honest man. A man of few words. He does not talk too much, no dogonturechi at all. He tells you how he feels, and that's it. He does not make too much statements.
Members of the Green Chamber commiserated with the late president's family and called on future leaders to emulate his discipline, simplicity, and patriotism. Recall Muhammadu Buhari served as Nigeria's president from 2015 to 2023, following a distinguished career as a military officer and former head of state. The House observed a moment of silence in his honor as Nigeria continues to mourn the passing of one of its most prominent statesmen. Annie T. Patrick, Global Television News.
Governor Hope Uzodinma has observed that lasting peace and security in Imo State, border communities are key to driving the state's socio-economic development. The governor stated this while inaugurating the new Imo State Boundary Committee, which is expected to strengthen boundary management and promote peaceful coexistence among communities. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, reports.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma emphasized that effective boundary administration is crucial for resolving disputes and preventing conflicts. He called on the committee to carry out its duties with dedication and transparency.
And charge this committee to be diligent and do whatever it will take to return peace in the disagreeing communities in Imo State and in handling all boundary issues in Imo State, so that Imo State will have peace, bring prosperity, and the enabling environment that will guarantee the realization of our aspirations as a government.
In her response, the chairman of the committee, who is also the deputy governor, Chinyere Komaru, pledged to work with the stakeholders to peacefully resolve boundary issues and strengthen unity across the state.
We work hard to perform the duties for which we are being inaugurated today, ultimately adding value to your administration and bringing happiness to the great people of Imo State, which is your heart's desire.
The committee is expected to help maintain peace, build stronger community relations, and promote good governance throughout the state. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. The AM News returns after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Let's take you through the world of business, where the federal government has launched new national occupational standard for compressed natural gas, that is CNG, and electric vehicles, as part of efforts to reposition Nigeria's automotive industry and accelerate the country's clean energy transition. This was disclosed by the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Eno, in Abuja during the public presentation of the new standards. Eno emphasized that the move demonstrates the government's practical commitment to industrial competitiveness, clean energy adoption, and workforce development. And now on the foreign scene, controversial new constitution in Togo has triggered deadly protests as President Faure Gnassingbe transitioned into all-powerful prime minister's role to sidestep presidential term limits. At least 5 demonstrators have been killed in clashes with security forces in Lome, with more protests planned this Friday despite growing tension. Interestingly, the pushback is not being led by the traditional oppression, but by musicians, bloggers, and young activists angry over nearly 6 decades of family rule under the Gnassingbe. And now let's quickly take you through the world of sport, where power, pride, and perseverance are on full display in Abuja as the 14th African Arm Wrestling Championship and the 7th Para Arm Wrestling Championship have brought together 400 athletes from 20 African countries, turning Nigeria's capital into the battleground for Africa's fiercest grip on glory. President of the African Arm Wrestling Federation, Charles Osai Aspe, says the event marks a new milestone for the sport development in Africa. We keep you abreast of other developments. Now, this story is still coming from the world of sport, where the 2025 WTT Contender Lagos tournament is in full swing at the Teslim Balogun Stadium, with top international and local stars connecting for ranking points. And the championship prize, with Nigerian ace Quadri Aruna absent, players like Olajide Omotayo, Taiwo Matt, Matthew Kuti, and Italy-based John Oyebode are seizing the spotlight to make an impact on home soil. In the women's single, defending champions Streja Akula faces a stiff competition from Japan's Hina Hayata, Egypt's Hana Goda, and France's Priskta Vade as the 5-day shutdown heats up in Lagos. Here we bring the AM news to an end, but before we go, we'll want to inform you that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276, and you can follow us on all our social media platforms now showing on your screen at Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agu. Thank you for watching.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to another beautiful day on Global Television. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. It is Friday, and of course the weekend, they say, gets started on Friday. Starts from Friday through Saturday down to Sunday. A lot of people say Sunday as weekend, but then it's the first day of the week. Then Monday is the first working day of the week. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the TGIF edition of Global Morning. And of course, I'm not here alone. Jumai Manson is right here. It's good to have you this morning. Good morning and happy weekend. I will say the rest later.
Thank God it's Friday.
Unfortunately, you're not going to have a weekend.
Yeah. But I'm happy for those that are having weekends.
Some people started their weekend since yesterday.
Yeah, they did. So I just want to be happy for all of you that have the weekends. But and at the same time, good morning to each and every one of you. My amazing co-host has been holding it down for Uyagbomofwegbe, Ramsey, Enoch, Abu. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. It's good to have you.
It's great to be here. It's great to be here. And of course, it's Global Morning on Global Television. And of course, he has mentioned my name, but I'd love to mention about myself again. I am Jumai Manson. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. I think the drum already rolled before you even called your name.
Yeah, very true, very true. But it's great to be here. It's a beautiful Friday morning, and the weather is amazing. It looks as if it's going to drizzle or rain, one of them. But of course, you know what, the weather forecast, 9net will be bringing us some key pointers when it comes to the weather throughout the day. But don't forget, like we said, we're in the raining season. Just do the needful when it comes to the right footwear, the right clothing for the rain, and please keep yourself safe to avoid any falls. You know, when you wear footwears that are slippery, it could do that to you. But at the same time, just be hopeful and be happy. Of course, we heard that petrol has reduced in price, but we're yet to feel that impact. Well, hopefully the marketers will not come in an uproar when it comes to that particular issue. But let's just see how it goes. It's a beautiful day.
All right, let's get into the conversation. Remember that on Global Morning today, we'll be bringing you two very powerful conversations. And of course, these conversations are bordered on human angle situations and of course, the polity. You can't say anything in Nigeria this time without a touch on what is happening on the political scene. And of course, social buzz will also be coming on your way. Yesterday we talked about the fact that a lot of people have so much attachment to their phones and in connection to what happens on the social media where we have so much going on. So we'll bring you just a tip from what is happening on social media. That's going to be social buzz that will be brought to us by Ugochukwu Mobno. And of course, don't forget that the conversation is going to be really intensive this morning. But then, what do you think about the PDP convention that has been moved to Ibadan in Oyo State? So they said something. Some people said, well, they have their reasons. Some of the people that we expected in that NEC meeting yesterday, some of them went up there. In case you don't know, Atiku Abubakar is no longer in the People's Democratic Party. He already left. David Mark already left. And ADC still trying to find its footings. But then some persons are saying it's really a threat. But we'll look at all of that in our conversations today. And of course, there was a video making brand where some Nigerians are stranded at the Central African Republic. And this boils down to the fact that the unemployment situation is getting serious by the day. These are Nigerians that we are taken from Nigeria, all right, in the guise to go work at a mining site at the Central African Republic. A company in Nigeria here actually moved them there to work with their partner, and they said for up to 6 months they were just left there like that, taken into the bush, the mining site, and were left there abandoned, their passports seized, and of course the person who took them there is nowhere to be found. But then I think it's so good that NIDCOM, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, is putting up 1 or 2 efforts to get them rescued. The video is making round and a lot of people are reacting to it. how did we get here? When, I don't know, for me this is part of slavery, you know, because of unemployment, because of probably the hunger in the land. People want to leave the shores of this country by all means. You hear, I want to get a job somewhere outside Nigeria, and some persons have been trafficked out of this country, maybe known to them or unknown to them, in the disguise of going to get a job. And for the fact that some of them feel they're hungry in the land, they tend to move out of the country. But then, unfortunately, these ones have ended in wrong hands. And so many others, we've seen NAPTIP rescue people who have been trafficked for one illegal job or the other, for illegal reasons or the other. And some persons, even on their own, try to leave the shores of this country, not minding the risk involved. All they want to do is they want to move out of the country for, I don't know, reasons best known to them. Even if the economy is not favorable, at least we've been promised that there will be light at the end of the tunnel, and some Nigerians are still here. If you're not specific, if you don't know what you are going out to do, I don't think there is need going there, because at the end of the day you may end up in wrong hands, you know, just all in the name of JAPA, and people come disguised, telling especially our girls that they want to take them out to get them jobs, and at the end of the day they end up in hands that in the hands of people that brutalize them, that beat them up and all of that, take them into prostitution and all of that. I think NAPTIP have rescued a lot of people like that.
Yes,
but the situation of these guys is pathetic. If you watch the video and hear what they are saying,
yeah, it's very
pathetic.
It's very pathetic. But at the same time, it's the risk that Nigerians are willing to take to get out of Nigeria, because they feel in their mind there are better, greener pastures outside the shores of Nigeria. So whatever it is, you know, we have this Nigerian spirit that whatever, we'll rug it out. Wherever we find ourselves, we'll adapt, we'll adjust. But they find it different when they actually move outside the shores of Nigeria. Someone will tell you that I'm willing to take the risk to travel to an European country and then I will find my way. They think that's what it is. Like how we are in Nigeria, anyhow, everything will work no matter what, but sometimes it's not the case. And that is why we have a lot to do when it comes to development in our own country, when it comes to employment opportunities, when it comes to a lot of making the system work. We need a structure so people can actually sit back and say, okay, fine, I can still become something in Nigeria. I can still be hopeful that things will be all right. I don't have to worry about, because they say don't worry about tomorrow, but a lot of people actually worry about tomorrow. And that is why you see a lot of issues. But at the same time, we're grateful for NAPTIP coming in to rescue the situation, but it is unfortunate. It's worse when in Libya is worse. You see a lot of Nigerians. There was a time, was it 2022, if I'm not mistaken, that was the same thing that happened to Nigerians who traveled on shore to Libya, and some of them it was a very gruesome state in which they found themselves in. Prostitution, some were beaten, some were, in fact, it was horrific. There are some things you cannot even mention on air, but it's just unfortunate that individuals, especially Nigerians, feel you can find it easy out there. Sometimes it's a risk that people are willing to take on a daily. With this rescue team going in, you'll be surprised that tomorrow you get another bunch in another country, because everyone is finding his or her way on how to move away from poverty. No one wants to be poor, and with the situation of things in Nigeria. But at the same time, please, it's very important that we understand the implications behind all of these things. It's not like Nigeria that you can get away with a lot of issues. These countries, they can't, and their citizens can really get away with it, because when it comes to rape and prostitution, who do you hold accountable? Because you went there on your own accord. You went there through a scheme, which is a scam. Because someone will just come and tell you attractive salary, a mining site, just come over to, and you have no clue what that company is all about. You have not even made proper research to investigate that particular country because it's outside Nigeria. You feel it's something that will yield fruits. But are you sure? Have you taken the necessary steps to ask? But hey, I'm not judging, but at the same time, because of where we find ourselves or the situation of things in Nigeria, people are willing to take that risk at the detriment of their lives.
That's true. All right. Yesterday, Peter Obi went to his alma mater, that is Christ the King College in Onitsha, and maybe the infrastructure there. But Christ the King is one of the best schools in Anambra State. That is his alma mater. Some people still remember their alma maters, still pay visit, make donations. I think he gave them about 50 million naira, yesterday for infrastructure, put the school in place and let the students enjoy themselves. These are missionary schools. Yesterday we were talking about the fact that there is a bill that has passed the first reading about public servants and of course civil servants to be denied access to private hospitals and schools. And some persons were asking questions: how equipped are the public schools? And where are the sons and daughters, the children of the creme la cremes of the society? Where are their kids? And when I saw that story, that Peter Obi donated 50 million naira to his alma mater for infrastructure and for the good of the students, so many things came to my mind. And I was thinking, how many people, influential people, people with people of affluence, that have actually gone back to their alma mater, that even still remember their alma mater, to make donations, to who are caring, who even bother about whether or not the school have the necessary infrastructure. There's one thing with Peter Obi, it's more like a trademark for him now, but what makes him stand out is the fact that these are things he was doing before he became governor. And even while he was a governor, he was still doing those things. I'm not trying to sing his praises. One thing that we do in the media is to ensure that we follow these people, research them, know what they do, their antecedents as politicians and when they were not politicians. We marry all this together before we can draw some form of conclusion on certain things. And so one of the reasons why a lot of people talk about Peter Obi, we're not saying he's a perfect man, no. But then one of the reasons why people talk about him is that he keeps doing what he's been doing, and he has said it, that he enjoyed doing it. And I remember when he visited the displaced people in Plateau State, he made donations, and different times he's done things like that. And if we can have a number of Nigerians remember their alma mater, where they started from, their community, like they said, charity begins at home.
Yes, it does.
Some persons are in political offices, but the road to their house is not accessible
at all.
Their state, the road to their, in fact, to even pass, for them to even pass to their own houses, the road is so bad. The people in their community are struggling to feed, while they are throwing away food in his own place, and they have so much. So it depends, it has to be in you first of all, before you can even think about doing it, So congratulations to CKC in Onitsha, Anambra State, and of course Nigerians are clamoring for more of Peter Obi to emerge. Remember your alma mater, remember your community, remember where you're coming from.
Very important. And most individuals who are elites, will I say those who are in political offices, do not remember these, where they are coming from. So if I have someone from my state, for instance, who is in the, I'm just giving an instance, maybe he's holding a very big political appointment that can transform and change lives. Let it start from your community. Let them feel your impact. Let me be proud to say, oh my goodness, he's from my state and he's high up there, and the road that leads from this point A to point B, he did it in order for each and every one of us to benefit, and we are happy. But sometimes, like you mentioned, you'll be shocked to see that most individuals who are high up there, their community are not even, there's no impact. For as much as you're going to do what you need to do when it comes to empowerment, when it comes to innovations, when it comes to all of this, look behind the community where you are coming from, even your alma mater, your school. Most political individuals, how many of them remember did they even attend alumni meetings? No.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
So, and that is why, that the House of Reps that said those in political office should not be attended to when they go to private hospitals and all of that. I think it's like a reset, a reminder that, hey, you have to remember public schools and public hospitals, because most people don't focus on that. Once you're in a public space, all you think about is roads, you think about other things outside, things that will benefit individuals in our community. Because hey, the truth is, there are lots of people, the number of individuals that attend public hospitals are much more than the number that attend private hospitals.
Sure.
So it's a reset for you to remember that public, there's something like the public hospital, there's something like public schools for you to, it's a reminder, it's a reset to remember and always look back. So I think for me it's a step in the right direction, although we know these individuals who are high up there will not even go to the public hospitals or public schools, but it's fine. For those that attend, make an impact. Let your impact be felt in these places.
Do they even know the road to where those hospitals
Exactly. Go to primary healthcare centers. You'll be shocked. You might even cry when you go there.
There is this belief that primary healthcare, public schools are meant for the poor.
Yes, exactly.
That's what some people believe.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth.
That's not
because back in the days, let me take us back memory lane a little bit. We do researches all the time. Public schools are more regarded. People want to go to public school because it is a government-sponsored school, and they have good structures. They have good laboratories and all of that. I was fortunate enough to attend a government school, a government college, where we have the whites. Some of our teachers then were white men. I know Mr. Green was a white man. Yes, we have some from even India. Okay, yes, we had about 2 of them from India, and a couple of other white men teaching in Nigerian secondary school. Not like now that people are running out of the country. The whites were coming to Nigeria to also get employment. I'm talking out of experience. They were my teachers, so it's so important. But then I think the bottom line is you mustn't even be a politician before you make impact in your community.
Very true.
I used to know one Patrick Itoko, Ojema also, what he does for his community. You will be surprised. He's not a politician. He's not a politician. I know there were times that his people were like wanting him, to go into politics. But then he's not a politician. But because of his antecedents, the things he do in his community for everyone, people are even clamoring. And that boils down to the fact that you don't even need to struggle to get these political offices.
Yes.
If you are what the people want, because of your antecedent, before you even start thinking, aspiring to become a politician, people push you up the ladder without stress.
And you know what, Ramsey, to add to what you have just said, I think individuals, especially those in those political offices, need to understand that you must have empathy. Empathy. If you do not have empathy or sympathy, if you're there because of, okay, the stress of going round trying to get my votes, the stress of trying to do this, the money that I have spent, all of that, when I get to the office, I need to get it back and all of that, and you forget the focus of individuals who are looking up to you as their voice. That is where the problem emanates from. Like, you must remember that, hey, I am doing this because it is the humane thing to do, and because I want to serve. I am a servant. You see, once we understand, I think there needs to be like a class again for individuals to understand.
But Nigerians don't know that leadership is service.
Because we tend to forget once we are on that seat. Although it is a very difficult thing to focus when you do not have the right people around you.
That's very vital.
Because I know what it means. Once you are on that, and you do not have individuals who share in your vision, who shares in your aspiration, you would not find it easy, even when you are upright. Because those around you, your circle, will turn to bring it down no matter what. So the thing is, you as an individual, you must understand, I am a servant first for my people and the people in whom I represent. Very important. That is the only time you'll be willing to give back, and you will not see it as too much. Yeah, because once you give, okay, fine, I have given them, I built a school, I built a hospital, let me relax now. You forget that the people need to be empowered. You forget that they are orphans, they are widows, they are youths who needs employment. A lot of things encompass. Once you have that mindset that, hey, I'm a servant and I will give as much as I can without grumbling or being tired, that is the only way you can give back, and not looking at it as too much and looking at what you can put in your own pocket. See, no one will look at you even when, if you do the right thing and you put things in your pocket, no one cares.
Nobody suspects you. See, if there is something on ground, you're walking. No, we know that people who are working, they also need to have something to take care of themselves. They have bills to pay.
Yeah.
So if there is something to point to say, well, this is what the road this person has constructed, that health center was built by this person.
Exactly.
During Christmas, we had enough to eat and drink, courtesy of our representative, courtesy of our senator, and all of that. Nobody will even care whether or not you're taking so much for yourself.
Really?
But what about the greed? They don't even care.
The greed
What they want to do is subject the people to poverty so that they can be at their fingertips. You know, anytime they say come, they come. They say go, they go.
Well, and just to add before we go into the newspaper review segment, for I know that we cannot say everyone has that zeal in their heart that they want to be rich. Everyone wants to be rich, and that's the truth.
That everyone cannot be rich at the same time.
Yes, but at the same time, we should all understand that for as much as you want to be comfortable, and that is really, when you hold an office and you want to be a servant, is a step-up stone for you to acquire more wealth for yourself. But as you acquire more wealth for yourself, let there be a balance. Do the needful when it comes to the individuals in whom you represent and what you can do out of your humane part of your life. It's very important that we understand that it should be a balance. So as much as you want to acquire all of this, do the needful once you're in that office so that you will not be, judged and all of that. Let's just do the needful. It's very important.
Well, let's do the needful. Nigerians, let's do the needful. At the grassroots, let's do the needful. At the top there, let's do the needful. If we're passing bills, let's pass the bills that are needed. And of course, let's all join our hands to take Nigeria to a greater height. You deserve to know what the national dailies are saying, what's happening, what's making round on the papers. We'll go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we'll bring you the newspaper review for today. Stay with us.
All right, it's a beautiful Friday morning, like we mentioned before, and it's the program Global Morning. And at about this time is a newspaper review segment. And we'll start with the first paper of the day, and it's the Punch newspaper. Now, above the nameplate, it says here, states slashing power tariff must pay subsidy. And that is from NEC, and you will find that read on page 19. 14 villagers, policemen killed in Plateau attack. Very sad there. You will find that read on page 22. Now on page 7 of the Punch, Natasha to serve out suspension as Senate enters recess. And beside the nameplate of the Punch newspaper on page 7 again, it says Nigeria harbors over 200 million illegal arms. And that's from the Chief of Defense Staff with his picture there. Now, the Star story reads, post-NEC meetings, APC PDP set stage. Epic 2027 face-off, and that is on page 2. And the writer reads, it says here, new APC chair, Yelwada vows Tinubu's return, Makinde Bala lead PDP governor in 2027 power takeover. And of course, that's a picture of the APC NEC meeting and PDP NEC meeting side by side. And below the foot of the Punch newspaper, it says APC power chairs Yelwada pick Brighton's Shetima Northeast 2027 chances. And that's on page 3. Fake customs officer arraigned after scamming victims 34 million naira. And that's on page 5. And last on the paper headline, it says here, Makinde unveils new Oyo Tourist Hub Master Plan. And that's on page 22. And that's all of the major headlines on the Punch newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast. Next paper, Ramsey.
All right, let's quickly look at the Daily Times newspaper this morning. On the Daily Times, we have this story saying, create ranches to end farmer-header clashes. CDS Musa edges. Details find on page 14. That takes us to the big story this morning. The big story says, Prof. Yelwada emerges new APC chairman, pledges unity, party rebuild. Details read on page 2. Now to the other story, where we have this one saying cholera outbreak claims 13 lives in Niger as infection spread. Details read on page 9. Coalition against APC, desperate attempt, lacks ideology. Speaker Abbas is the one saying that, and the detail you can find on page 2. All right, I see coming from the Daily Times newspaper this morning, 2,447 people displaced in Biron land. Youth group claims. Details freed on page 9. NIDCOM begins evacuation plan of Nigerians stranded in Central African Republic. We talked about it during our discussion this morning. These guys are stranded. The video, if you watch it, you would want to go rescue them immediately. And it doesn't speak well of Nigeria and, of course, Nigerians. So NIDCOM is a good step in the right direction. And right at the foot of the Daily Times newspaper this morning, the last story that I will be taking says PDP holds National Convention now November 15th, 16th in Ibadan. That's going to be in Oyo State. If you want more details, pick a copy of the Daily Times newspaper for more heads up.
All right, now we have the Nation newspaper, and we just have just one headline there, and it says Tinubu APC will receive more governors coalition members. And the writer says Yelwada begins tenure as 7th national chair with 2027 victory promise. Now, of course, PDP's convention for Ibadan in November, and that is on page 30. And that's a major headline on the Nation newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy.
Well, as an APC chairman, you're coming up with a lot of assignment and so many work to be done. All eyes on Yelwada as we speak.
Of course.
Because already the former chairman has laid a foundation.
Yes, he has.
And his antecedents and everything that he has done there needs to be a matchup, you know, for continuity. So there is a lot that has been done. So he needs to up his game to really match up with what the former chairman has done and was doing before his resignation.
And you know, the standard is there already.
Yeah, the standard set is so high.
The former chairman, no other person than
Alhaji
Abdullahi
Ganduje
has done a lot when it comes to holding that particular position and the standard in which he has set. So it's yet for Yewande to follow up or surpass. It depends, but a standard has been set and it must not be diminished.
You know, I was somewhere and some people were talking about the former chairman of the APC, the president of Alhaji Ganduje, and they were saying that, well, with his wisdom, people never noticed what was going on in APC.
Very true.
That he was there and making everyone work in unity, that people never knew. And the person made reference to some instances that people who were not satisfied with certain things,
very true,
where the issue, the way he handled it, the issue was settled and people never knew that there had been anything. It has been a free sale for the All Progressive Congress, courtesy of the chairman's wisdom. And they were saying, well, Yewande will have a lot to do to match up with the standard and fill in and match up with the shoe. Well, let's just keep our fingers crossed and see what will happen. Tinubu APC will receive more governors and coalition members. I almost, if you watch me carefully, I smiled when I saw that, when you read that headline.
Yes,
coalition members. See, APC is not jittering at all.
No.
People who are forming coalition, you are thinking that they will come join you soon. I don't know how that sounds. These are some of these headlines are so tricky. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed and see what will happen. Now, let's get to the next paper, which is the Guardian newspaper. And on the Guardian newspaper this morning, directly below the nameplate, this one says debts, 1.1 trillion naira subsidy, dollarized operations threaten energy transition. TCN replaces chairman, cites governance concern. Army chief warns against abandoning Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Details read on page 7. Well, I don't know if those people may become threats to West Africa, but I don't think so. These are brothers. Well, too much of a good thing. That's the kicker. The big story now. How unchecked dietary supplements turn toxic, lure many to early grave. You can find the details on the Guardian newspaper. EU editors partner to raise awareness on impact of fake news. Fake news everywhere. ADC CUPP kick as Tinubu labels opposition coalition of confusion. All right, we are not against coalition to unseat Tinubu in 2027. We are not against coalition to unseat Tinubu in 2027. If you want to know where that statement is coming from, pick a copy of the Guardian newspaper and go through it straight to page 28. Makinde unveils Oyo's tourism blueprint at Summit. That's details you can actually find on page 20. Killings, that's the kicker. Fulani avenging injustice in Plateau, says Headers Group. What are they avenging? What's the problem? Well, 2027, that's the kicker. Tinubu rallies governors to performance. Lure North with slots. All right, that's politics for you. And finally, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, markets money changing lives of Nigeria as 27,000 traders benefit from stress-free loan. All right. If you want to take loan, look at it very well so that you don't get leered, and at the end of the day, you begin to lament. That's going to be the size of the headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning.
I just want to pick a particular story from the Guardian that says, too much of a good thing, how unchecked dietary supplements turn toxic, lure many to early grave, which is true. I just feel if you have your balanced diet, you do not need supplements, because your balanced diet contains all the supplements that you need when it comes to carbohydrate, protein, fat and oil, mineral, and all of that encompassed. So it's very important that we understand that, because there's so many companies out there who want to make money when it comes to luring individuals, and people do not check these supplements before they take them in. And that is why you see someone that wants to lose weight take in supplements that make you lose so much weight, causing something else when it comes to your digestive system. So please, it's better you just maintain a balanced diet with all the basic minerals in it, and you'll be fine. It contains all these supplements. So please, let's be very careful, especially individuals who are very prone in weight loss. Please, let's be very cautious with that. And next is the Nigerian Tribune, and above the nameplate it says, ADC to Tinubu diplomacy, not a side hustle. And that read you will find on page 4. And the writer says, insists absence of Nigerian ambassadors in key global capital embarrassing. Now it says 10th Memorial Symposium for Ooni Sijuwade holds today in Lagos. And below the nameplate, the star story reads, APC Chairman Yelwada's emergence alters zoning structure. And here it says, 2 NEC officers affected. I need your cooperation to fix the party. It will. Minister pleads with stakeholders. And still on the Nigerian Tribune, it says, Oshun AG Nasarawa SSG 55 others make new SAN list. Congratulations. And in health, it says, more than 1,300 die globally from contaminated medicines, and that's from World Health Organization, UNODC, and that's the report, and you will find that on page 10. Now it says, Makinde announces tourism reset agenda at International Tourism Summit, and that you will find on page 17. PDP holds National Convention November 15th to 16th in Ibadan, and that's on page 5. And the writer says here, heads to court to recover seat of defected NAS members. Others says APC rudderless intensive, PDP elated over turnout at NEC meeting. And here it says Nigeria working with Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso to fight cross-border insecurity, says the Chief of Defense Staff. And you can get that read on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. And it says federal government improves energy transmission capacity with 5th 4 megawatt in Ibadan. And that's on page 6. And next paper.
All right, the next paper is the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. On the Daily Trust newspaper, we have this headline, which says the big story. I'm starting from the big story. Tinubu marginalizing North in resources allocation. That is coming from Kwankwaso. Okay. Well, why PDP move convention from Kano to Oyo? Application for new parties hit 144. Application for new parties. Sometimes you see these parties being registered, and on the day of the election, you just see maybe like 3 or 4 places that you have to vote. The numerous political parties that we have, some Nigerians don't even know the name of some, you know, but then there is still a clamor for the creation of 144 more. A dismissed soldier sentenced to death by hanging for robbery. That's uncalled for. What has, I think the investigations need to be done. What has led to this? Right? What has led to a soldier getting on the road to steal? Now, this one says 19-year-old woman arrested for allegedly killing 2 minors. Wow. So many things happening in Nigeria. Akpabio, Bamidele clash over leadership style. All right, that's from the Senate. So many videos making round about the Senate president, and of course, this one is a clash over leadership style between him and, of course, Bamidele. You can check it out on page 14. How journalist was killed in Kogi State. Details read on page 25. And now to the last story that we have here. It says, why APC selected Nentawe as chairman. All right, if you want to know why, pick a copy of the Daily Trust newspaper. That's going to be the size of the headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper. I don't know if any of these stories catches your fancy that you want to talk about.
When it looks at the story that you said, how journalist was killed in Kogi, it's just an unfortunate incident there that some journalists at the line of duty, their lives are being taken away from them. It's just unfortunate that that is what it is. And of course, the 19-year-old woman arrested for allegedly killing 2 minors. You wonder what would have led to such incidents, what would have led to that, and you just wonder, and you say to yourself. But basically, that is it for me, and hopefully the law will take its course. Very important.
Sure.
The law will take its course. And next paper, and of course, is the last paper on the newspaper review segment, and it is the Vanguard newspaper. And here above it, it says here that banks, insurance, other contribute 1.77 trillion naira to Q1 25, and that's on page 19. And EU editors collaborate to fight fake news, disinformation, and that's on page 8. And on page 11, it says 2027 INEC vetting 144 applications for registrations as parties. And on page 9, it says court orders police pay NSAS protesters 10 million naira over right violation. And the Star story reads 2027 Tinubu mocks coalition as Yelwada emerges APC chair. And we have about 6 riders there, and it says it's coalition of confusion. Asks APC governors to reduce hardship in rural areas. And it says, will unite, expand APC. Yelwada Uzodinma Lord's president's reforms, moves motion to restructure APC leadership. Tinubu APC unsettled by ADC's rise. Abdullahi. Fix Nigeria before meddling in our affairs. Atiku. And you will find that read on page 5. Now it says PDP zones presidency to south, and the rider says moves convention to Ibadan, vows to recover defected lawmakers' seats, and it says defectors will return if Wabara coalition defectors flocking back to PDP. That's from Damagu. We're ready to take back defectors, Bala Muhammad, and you find that read on page 8. And now it says LPPC's OK's 57 lawyers for elevation to senior advocate of Nigeria rank, and that's on page 9. And on page 12 says, I'm not afraid of visiting any state. Peter Obi replies Okpebolo, and we get that read on page 12. And on insecurity now, 500 small arms light weapons circulating in West Africa, and that's from the Chief of Defense Staff, and that you will find on page 10. And basically that is it on the newspaper review segment on Global Morning. Hope you go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with issues that are making rounds. Remember, these are the editorial judgments of the various newspapers in which we've read out to you. It's none of Global Television's editorial judgments. All right, now let us go on a very quick break. But before we return over to Ogochukwu Mobona, she brings us more on the social media area. That is on Social Buzz. Stay tuned.
morning, the Global Morning crew, and of course, good morning to you, my viewers. I am Ogotiku Mobnor. Today on Social Buzz, Nigerians in Central African Republic cry out for help. The chairman of Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Dabike Apire-Erewa, has reacted to trending video of Nigerians in Central African Republic crying out for help after they were abandoned and their passports seized by their Chinese boss. The chairman took to her X page, formerly Twitter, to express her gratitude as she wrote, "She is glad to announce that contact has been made with the Nigerians by officials of the Nigerian Embassy in the Central African Republic. Arrangements are now underway to dispatch a bus to convey them to Bangui. Their passports have also been retrieved." Well, that's a good one. We applaud you, Dabike Apire, the chairman for the Nigerian diaspora. Well, let's take a look at the short clip.
We came here through a mining company who brought us from Nigeria to come and work here. We have been here for 10 months, but we need the assistance of Nigerians to come and help us because the Chinese company that brought us here has abandoned us. We arrived here September last year. For 4 months, they delayed us at the capital city. Even said we were arrested by the government, and when we came out, they brought us to this bush. You can see there is no house anywhere here. The Nigerian general manager of the company, his name is Maruf Ademola Aregbe. Now, his partner, his name is Amos. He's a Central African citizen. He seized our passport. Without our passport, we cannot pass through their road because their law is very, very strict here. The distance between this place to Bangui is 850 kilometers. So please, Nigerians, if there is a way you can help us, please spread this video. Let them know that some Nigerians have been abandoned in Central Africa. Our location is Senye, under Bambari region in Central Africa. The Chinese man that brought us, his company is a Rado Setraco mining company in Nigeria. The owner of the company is Mr. Yang, and his partner is Mr. Wu. He's also a Chinese man. He's in this very country.
Good morning, Your Excellency. I am going to make sure I will do everything in my means to get a feedback. Like they said, if it is 8 hours to Bangui, if we get in contact with the officer?
Well, thank God and congratulations to them. Well, we'll be taking some of your thoughts on social media as regards this situation on board. But once again, I want to say congratulations to these people and for the hardworking Dabire Erewa, who has been really working so hard. We've always known her office to be that of the one who takes care of Nigerians in the diaspora, and so far it has been a beautiful ride with her, and we commend her for the job well done. So let's take some comments, some of your thoughts on social media as regards this thoughts. So the first comment is coming from Extofa Paper, and this person says, this woman is really active and working in her office. Good one. Just like I said earlier, I commended her, and yes, it's a good one. Well, the second comment for this particular issue is coming from Sherry Coco, and Sherry Coco says, Chinese men don't see us finish because they know nothing will happen to them. Well, no longer those days where we worship people like this. Of course, I believe that judgment is going to come soon, and it's really going to come in the right way. Well, over to the next topic. Professor Nentawe Yilwada emerges new APC national chairman. President Bola Tinubu has met behind closed doors with All Progressive Congress APC governors at the State House ahead of the party's National Executive Council meetings. The talks focus on key party matters, including the emergence of a new national chairman to replace Abdullahi Ganduje, who stepped down last month citing health issues. Professor Nentawe Yilwada was therefore inaugurated as the new party chairman. Congratulations to the new party chairman. Indeed, it's a big office, and it's not one to be joked with, and we hope that he carry out his duties effectively and efficiently, just like they have, given him, like they say, when you have bigger responsibilities, like when you have big positions like this, then know that bigger responsibilities await you, so there is no backing down. Hopefully, you know, I know all of these are preparation for the 2027 election, and it's a good one that the chairman stepped down to take care of his health, of course, and we are wishing Yelwada a success. We are wishing him good luck. Well, let's take some of your thoughts on social media as regards this issue. What are people saying on social media? So our first comment today is coming from Alhaji Wendy, and she says, well deserved, congratulations to him. Of course, congratulations to you, sir. The next comment today is coming from Helen B. Forever, and Helen says, former INEC official is definitely strategic. Do you smell anything fishy? Do you think there's something wrong? Well, Mr. Yelwada is from Jos, and people still say that Jos is a PDP state, and this is more like a kind of a plan to take over the state and make it an APC state. What do you think? Drop your thoughts, and we are going to be taking some of these thoughts. Who knows? Your thought can pop up anytime, any day in social buzz. So please drop your thoughts using the social media handles you're seeing right here on your screen and be part of this conversation. I am Ogot Kumobna, and I'm going to be leaving you with the Global Morning crew as Global Morning continues. Stay with us.
Is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday. All right, you're welcome back, and it's Global Morning on Global Television, and we're going to quickly delve into the first discuss of the day, and it's all about political development and how it actually helps Nigeria and, of course, the people of Nigeria, the impact of governance on the electorate. Now, political development in Nigeria is a complex process shaped by history, diverse ethnic groups, and involving governance structure. Now, the nation has experienced various forms of government, from military rule to democratic transitions, each with its own impact on political landscape. Now, key aspects of political development include the establishment of democratic institutions, now the promotion of good governance, and the fight against corruption. Now, improving the lives of Nigerians requires a multifaceted approach. Economic development is crucial, focusing on job creation, poverty reduction, and infrastructure development. Now, looking at it socially, there is a need to improve access to quality education, healthcare, and social services. Now, addressing issues like insecurity, ethnic tensions, and promoting inclusivity are also essential for fostering a stable and prosperous society. Now, the success of political and social development in Nigeria hinges on strong leadership, citizen participation, and a commitment to the rule of law. Now, it requires a collaborative effort from the government, civil society, and of course the Nigerian people to build a nation where everyone can thrive. Now, today on the program, I will be joined by Kayode Lawal M. He is the Senior Aide SA to Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD Speaker, House of Representatives, and the Executive Director, ED Constituents for Development Initiative called Consent Africa. Do not go anywhere. The first discuss of Global Morning continues shortly. Stay tuned. All right, you are welcome back, and like I mentioned, I am not doing it alone when it comes to this particular issue of political development and how it affects the electorate. And like I mentioned, I am joined by Kayode Lawal. He is the Senior Aide SA to Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD Speaker, House of Representatives, and the Executive Director, ED Constituents for Development Initiative Consent Africa. It's great to have you, Mr. Kayode, on the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Juma. Good morning, the viewers. Happy Friday to all Nigerians.
Happy Friday. Now, looking at this critically, now, what are the key challenges facing political development
in our dear country, Nigeria?
Thank you so much. I have to commend the Global TV for the giant stride that you've achieved in the area of sensitizing and educating in Nigeria.
Thank you.
And on the global scene that has become a factor in the media industry to reckon with. The topic of discussion is been the issue of discourse both nationally, in the region and continental, as well as the global issue. And that's why you see the United Nations, a global body of different countries of the world, come out with what we call sustainable development goal. But it's not about having international agenda. It's all about what can we do to domesticate all this agenda. It can be able to have impact, so it can trickle down to the people in different communities across Nigeria. And that is the responsibility of the elected leader in different positions of authority. And if you look at the first schedule of the Constitution, said that the responsibility of serious responsible government is the welfare, security of life and property.
Very true.
So we now have to ask ourselves, if we complain that during the military era, the military has not been able to actually put Nigeria in the area of pedestrian or benefiting from all these different programs that are going to impact on people's life. 25 years down the line, when we experiencing democratic governance, I want to ask ourselves, have we been able to do well? And that is more reason why you are throwing this topic to Nigerians and on the global scene now.
Very true.
And I think it's high time for Nigerians. I'm not seeing the leaders now. I'm talking about Nigeria, all of us. The project called Nigeria is the responsibility of every one of us. And it actually started from the issue of, number one, leadership recruitment process. How do we recruit our leaders? Is it somebody just come and say, this is your member of House of Representatives and so Saibi? Or somebody just say, this is man that's going to represent the state constituency? What is the participation of the people in ensuring that that man can represent them? He understands the community. He can be able to dissect what I call microeconomic development of that area and the involvement of the people. And then I want to thank the current leadership of the National Assembly under the Speaker of House of Rep, Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas, PhD. A different election cycle, the National Assembly at the inauguration and swearing in, they normally have what we call legislative agenda. Legislative agenda is just like to gather some kind of economic intervention, policy dissect, the area of legal framework, another opportunity that will help the federal government. You know that ministry, department and agency, the ministry do policy, but the representative will tell you this policy, do you be able to find that it can be able to actually have impact in the life of people who we represented. And that legislative agenda for this 10th National Assembly, our group, Progressive Legislative Aid Nigeria, that convergency of different legislative aid in Nigeria. The Speaker gave us opportunity to make input into that. And the area we are looking at is the area of digital economy, creative economy, agri sharing prosperity. Because when Ministry of Agri now do policy, people should be outside here to take that policy to the community, which is lacking now. And we are appealing to most of the appointee of Mr. President. Mr. President has good intention. You can hear what he said yesterday. He said, go and serve the people in the community.
Very true.
This man cannot be everywhere. So it's not challenging the government alone. It's challenging all Nigerians. Number one, when you get to the state now, the governor is the leader in the state. He's the chief security. He's the man in charge. It's overall. But we have to ask ourselves about the people. Nigerian people are not organized. That's one about the issue of a leadership recruitment process. Then number two, about the issue of corruption. Most of Nigerians believe that if you are going to any elected or appointee office now, they will tell their brother, it's our turn, no. So you have to make sure that you make everybody in the family millionaires. It cannot work. Because the money that the man wants to go and steal somewhere, or if the man decided to put his hand in this steal or cover of the government, is the money that meant for development in one particular community. So one community will suffer about it. Then number two, inconsistency in the policy of the government. You see, I have to thank Mr. President for his since he assumed the office in 2003. He has been coming out with what I call ambitious budgets that people say, can it be achievable? He's a philosopher that said you should not be able to think of small thing in life. Think of big and bigger thing. Look at what is happening in along the coastal line now. about this coastal line road that they are constructing from Lagos that's going to cross a lot of states in southwest, in southeast, and south up to the Cameroon. That is one of the economic importance of this government. Do you know how many jobs is going to create along that axis? Mr. President has been able to sustain the achievement of the former president, late president, may Almighty Allah forgive him, President Muhammadu Buhari, in the area of infrastructure. You can see what they are doing from Sokoto to Lagos. You don't need to pass through Zamfara. You pass through Kebbi before you get to Lagos. Don't you get to Sokoto now if you are coming from Lagos?
Yes.
I experienced it when I was traveling to Sokoto around 10 years ago. You can just go through Badagry and you enter Sokoto. Those are the kind of interventionists that the government has done that we have impact. Then there's a need for each and everybody, either aspirants, either candidate that the party has chosen during the primary election. Tell Nigeria your agenda. What do you want to do? Like what?
But let me interject, Kayode. But at the same time, these parties come out and tell Nigerians their agenda, and then when they're voted into power, they do something else. Don't you think so?
Yeah, you are right. But let me tell you one thing. At the formation of the All Progressive Congress, I was a technical advisor to the National Organizing Secretary, the distinguished Senator Sita Nassau, who is the serving senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, representing Olu West Senatorial District of Imo State. What you said is actually right. But the basic thing is that under his leadership as National Organizing Secretary, we have a template of program that we look at how we can be able to align the agenda or manifesto of the party with individual aspirants or candidates program of intervention and what the ministry, department and agency want to do in the area of policy intervention. And in 2015, after winning the election, there was an engagement between the party and the elected representative. You will remember as at that time, it's all about change. So how can you be able to mainstream the change in the ministry, department and agency program and policy? And it's actually achieved a lot. So I'm challenging the political leaders. It's not about just being a chairman of a political party or a national secretary of a political party or national organizing secretary of a political party, but it's all about the interest of Nigeria, which is paramount to everybody. Because whether we like it or not, any political office is transient. One day you are going to leave it.
Now, talking about the interests of Nigerians, now what are the major economic factors that affect the well-being of Nigerians?
Yep. I want to give this to you as a development expert, as a civil society person, as somebody that work in different sectors for the development in the area of good governance. It's not a rocket science, but the basic thing is that all hands must be on desk. The reason why I'm saying this is that you can have what we call National Ski Council in Abuja, but ask yourself, what's going to be the benefit to my brother or sister in Karo Namunda in Zamfara State? What's going to be the benefit to a man at the entrance of Lagos from Ibadan, which we call Kusofe Federal Constituency? So it's not about having a policy in Abuja. It's all about how we can be able to translate it to an effective and impactful policy that's going to translate for a better economy and improve the standard of living of Nigeria based on the microeconomic development of that community. Are you getting me? The government can do macro, but micro that's going to allow it to trickle down. And that's why the Constituent for Development Initiative, our NGO, we've done a lot of training and we've actually looked at how we can be able to do and mainstreaming all these things, specifically in the area of community involvement and engagement. And we've actually compartmentalized sector and subsector intervention. We have what we call constituency agenda for development. That, for instance, in 2015, when we partner with the NDE and some honorable member and senator, and we come out with a lot of intervention agenda, and that's what my principal, the current speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas, as the representative of Nigerian people and the speaker of the 10th Assembly, is doing in the area of Zaria Federal Constituency agenda for development, intervention in different sectors, digital economy, and other creative opportunity for the young people. And I want to thank Mr. President for actually have a full-fledged ministry for digital economic innovation. Africa, Nigeria now, we are digitalized.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what one of our media company, Constituency TV, educating and sensitizing people and give us information about the level of development through your phone.
Okay.
So we can able to track what each honorable member and senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are doing.
Great. Now talking about the most talked about sectors in Nigeria, that's education and healthcare. Now, how can education and healthcare be improved to enhance the quality of life of Nigerians?
Yeah, I have to thank you and appreciate this is the foundation of any development. You remember during the time of our founding father, specifically the late sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo in the Southwest, the progressive ideology that everybody is keen into now, I'm a Yoruba man. My father was one of the leader in Action Group as at that time. He just late now. He was a former State House of Assembly member in Ibadan. Most of these leaders now, that they are promoting progressive ideology, they don't understand the concept. And that's why I want to thank the former chairman of the party, His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umaru Ganduje, with the direction. You see, Mr. President said something yesterday. He said, I want the progressive ideology to translate to the improvement of the life of the people in the community. And I want to thank the immediate past chairman of the party, because I gave him instruction, go and set up Progressive Institute.
And he
so
did.
The party has set up Progressive Institute. Their office is in Area 7 now. In fact, the institute has organized the first ever national skill development in Nigeria. And we need to be part and parcel of it, just to guide the ministry, department and agency in the area of policy, collect the information from people and give them this is how it works. So the basic thing is that when you ask about the education and the issue of health, number one, education is life.
Yes, it is.
Education is life. Take it or leave it. But the big question we have to tell ourselves now, as a parent, as guardian or whatever, don't impose education to your don't impose education on your children.
Why?
Yeah, you see, I belong to a school of thought who said that we have to flow with the trend in the society. The kind of education we have at the time of the pre-colonial era and post-colonial era is basically administrative. That they are looking for people that are going to fill offices and administrator in different offices to write. But it doesn't involve a lot of specialized intervention in different sectors. Kayode Lawal, standing before you now, what I did in school is different to what I'm doing outside now. And basically is that there are a lot of young Nigerians who are doing well in different specialized areas. In the area of content creation, in the area of digital economy, in the area of social media influencer, in the area of promotion. So, and I think the government has to be thinking in the direction of ensuring that our curriculum has to actually be reviewed. For instance, now, one of the things we are doing in our organization, Constituent for Development Initiative, is to go to the community, analyze the microeconomic opportunity in the area, and develop a tailor curriculum fashion around that area that is going to improve the resources of that area. For instance, if you look at Kogi, Nasarawa and Plateau, they have what we call natural resources like solid mineral resources.
Yes, they do.
And one of the products that you have from that axis is what we call calcium. Calcium is a product that we use to produce paint. So we teach a lot of young boys in what we call construction housing value chains. That you can be able to, because those are the material that you find in your community. And when you get there, you have a lot of illegal miners who they've not been in the four angle of the classroom, but they are better than somebody that went to university to go and do geologists, because they are everyday people. A geologist can go to university and do a theoretic aspect of it. He might not be able to even have access to the solid, maybe thin, number or whatever. So the government has to look at how we can able to review the curriculum, develop a program that's going to actually tailor toward the informal sector. And I think the Honorable Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Dr. Dele Alake, is doing a lot regarding that. So I want to appeal to all the appointee of Mr. President and the elected representative. Please, it's all about the interest of Nigeria. Either if you seek office,
Nigeria and Nigerians.
Yeah, if you seek an office now, you get it. It's just God say you want to get it. Don't think of what you are going to do. Maybe second time or third time. think of how you can be able to make impact in the life of Nigeria.
Very
Because
true,
by the time you are leaving the stage, what you do will reflect the kind of legacy project you actually want to leave behind, and that is the most important thing in life. Thank you.
Now, I want to ask another question now. Looking at what strategies can be employed to reduce corruption and promote transparency, Mr. Kayode, in Nigeria?
I think I have to once again thank you for this issue of corruption. If you remember, during the coming of our party, the All Progressive Congress, APC, one of the agenda, change mantras and agenda, is to fight corruption. But you will see that the late President Muhammadu Buhari said that it is not easy to fight corruption under democracy, but was easy to fight corruption under military. Military is ruining our country by decree, so they can take any decision, but under democracy, there are a lot of lacuna in the constitution that make the fighting of the corruption a difficult one. But in all this, I think the ICPC and EFCC, is high time for them to compartmentalize what they are doing, to actually sectionalize the strategy in fighting corruption. For instance, now, I do say it that most of our religion leader in our faith, in the faith-based organization, will have looked at most of the aspects of what the Almighty God, Almighty Allah, said about the Constitution. Today is Friday. Amongst the podium, and tell the leaders that if you involve in corruption, this is what we are going to face in the hereafter. That will have been a strategy to fight. Number one. Number two, we have to use our traditional rulers. When you see is eminent, people like the Sultan of Sokoto is eminent, Sultan Abubakar. When he talk, it's an authority.
But Mr. Kayode, let me come in there. Now you see traditional rulers who are being subjected to go to court now. Don't we see that being played when it comes to the issue of Kano State and all of that? Most traditional rulers are not really giving that high regard like back in the day.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You see, we have to appeal to Nigeria and our people generally. When you said America, things are working in America, ask yourself, which year does the America start practicing democracy?
They have a structure, Mr. Kayode.
God bless you. Over 200 years ago. Nigeria was like 20 or 25 years now. But one of the reasons why we find ourselves here is because of I don't care attitude of Nigerian people. At the return of democracy, when the economy was good, people don't bother about the leader who emerged, either at the State House of Assembly, House of Rep or Senator, because nobody care. I can go out there also, get my daily bread and enjoy myself. But when the economy is bad, people trace it to, okay, it was as a result of accumulated and persistent corruption. True. So is that time for us to raise our eyebrow, but they are doing it in the wrong manner. If you want to fight people, you need information. You need data. That to the extent that when you lay that person, the man might not have any escape route. So now, based on what you said, I have to thank the emergence of the Speaker of House of Rep in this 10th Assembly, Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas. This is the first time that the leadership of National Assembly will involve the traditional ruler
in decision making.
No, they want to have. We are going through what we call constitutional review now.
Okay, yes.
One of the items that the Speaker is considered as one of the bill, because if you look at his antecedents, since the dawn of democracy, he is the only honorable member across Nigeria that have the highest number of bill and motion. But it's always within his comfort. He doesn't make noise. And we have to thank the Chief of Staff for discover him, for bringing him on board and say this is the man for the job. So why am I saying this is that since he has assumed the office, the issue of traditional ruler, giving them responsibility and back it with the law is the priority. And they are, even last week or 2 weeks ago, the Emir of Sousa asked to come from Syria to come and be part of what we call advocacy for more seats for Nigerian women in the National Assembly. So I have to thank the leadership of this 10th National Assembly. But I want to appeal to Nigeria. National Assembly, your leader, they are not from heaven, no. they are part and parcel of this society.
Of
They are the
course.
product of the society. There's a need to engage them constructively. There's a need to criticize them if there's a need be. Because the speaker will tell his staff and his aide, tell me where we are going wrong.
But sometimes when you tell them where they are going wrong, there's this I don't care attitude by some of our leaders who still continue with whatever they are doing.
Those kind of leader will not is not going to live to tell the story. It will not stay there for long. And that's why when you see now that the Nigerian system is actually evolving in the sense that if you have avalanche of aides or advisor and they advise you don't take it, do you know that in the next election season they will be the one to force and canvass against you? So why is that leadership? So it's better for you not to even step in, not talk of when you step in you'll be degrading out of it. And that's why you see the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is only a Nigerian leader living now that has developed a lot of layers of leaders across board. I stay in Lagos. I'm a Yoruba man. I'm a civil society person. We have the dossier of all this leader. He has empowered a lot of people. He's commissioner for works, Ogbeni Ralph Aregbesola. The current majority leader in the Senate was his former commissioner for youth. His Excellency Dr. Kayode Fayemi was one of his people that work with him. A lot of them. Are you talking of Ojudu that he happened to be one of the media experts? Plenty of them. As a leader, you don't need to allay any fear. Do your best. Let the people and the God judge you, and I believe that the country will get better.
Yeah, I believe so also. Now, one more question before we wrap it up on the first discuss of the day. Now, how can citizens, that's Nigerian citizens now, actively participate in political and social development initiatives?
That's our work. That's what we have been doing for the past 25 years. And we continue doing it. Because a philosopher said that continue to do what you have the passion for. You see, people who are engaging in this education and sensitization and the passion to impart on people, like they don't go old. It's not about money. Most of our leaders, part of what the EFCC and ICP is supposed to be doing for them, as we are facing the 2027 general election now, let them inculcate the attitude of tell them the implication of corruption. Because if you take 10 million naira or any amount from the cover of the government, you are denying my brother in Ikirun, Osun State, opportunity for development. And you let them know that when you do that, your children might be the one passing through the road that you refuse to construct. It might have an accident, anything can happen. Because we are not determining our life. It's only mighty God. And what you are going to eat in the afternoon, you cannot decide it. God will decide it for you. It's not about accumulation of wealth. It's all about improve the life of the people and ensuring that you leave a good legacy. The strategy is there's a need for Nigeria to actually put themselves together. There's a need for Nigeria to have an identity. Put themselves together in the sense that let's have a community that are going to be discussing a lot of issues in different sectors. Then have an identity. If possible, our NGO, beside what we are doing at the national level, we are still going to the states to replicate what we are doing in the states. Have what we call youth constituency for development. That's going to be advocating for the need, what are the interests of the young people. We have the one for women constituency. And we are doing this in different sectors of the economic and other subsector. That's number 2. Then number 3, there's a need to develop a platform that's going to, for instance now, this is the 2 years in this administration. What is the scorecard of each honorable member and senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? What is the mid-term achievement? So that is how you are, and the government has done their own part. That's the government has passed what I call the Freedom of Information Act that will give you opportunity to actually use FOIB to ask your leader, what are you doing in this sector? What are you doing in this area? And if they refuse to respond within 7 days, you can take a legal action. And we have to thank most of our brothers and sisters who are lawyers. They do a lot of services to support this kind of cause. The only thing that put yourself together, get an identity, and ensure that you create a platform that's going to actually overwhelm me and develop different agenda of intervention.
All right, now, Kayode Lawal, I want you to look at that camera there. that camera, and talk to leaders about political development and, of course, the impact of governance on the electorate.
Thank you. My leader in different position of authority. Hi, Kayode Lawal, want to appeal and beg you. Please, we can see the level of unemployment and poverty in this country is overwhelming. The reason why you are there as a leader is to improve and ensure that you deliver the dividends of democracy for Nigerian people. Ask yourself, have you been able to be doing well, and judge yourself when you appear before Almighty God? What will you tell him? I'm begging you, today is Friday. Ensure that justice is done not only to your family but the generality of people who voted you, even those people that didn't vote you into power. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we take a cue from what you said yesterday, and we are appealing to the governor. The governor in different states are our leader. We are not competing with you. What we are looking for is the 3 square meal every day. It's a simple and basic thing: electricity, quality education, health sector, employment. If you don't know how to do it, and those people that you find around you as your SA, as your PA, as your customer center, if they don't do anything, fire them. There are a lot of young people who are better, that can deliver. I'm a member of APC. I'm part of the foundation of the party. I've contested for election, and I'm doing the little in my own. Even I'm not elected representative, but I'm appealing to you, please. The negative effect is that if these people decided to overrun us, they are going to actually get their day, but we are not praying for it. May Almighty give you wisdom and give you the lieutenants that are going to support your aspiration, because when you leave, they are not going to say the government of Kayode Lawal. They will say the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I know Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a leader that normally happy to leave legacy, and I believe that this country will get better. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Kayode Lawal, thank you so much for being a part of Global Morning, our first discuss of the day. And of course, Kayode Lawal, he is the senior aide of SA to Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, Speaker, House of Representatives, and Executive Director, ED, Constituents for Development Initiative, Consent Africa.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kayode,
Thank you
for being a part of Global Morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now we're going to go on a very quick break at this moment. And of course, the second discuss of Global Morning continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from that discussion. It is still Global Morning. And of course, we can't exhaust talking about the people at the grassroots, the electorate, and of course, the things happening in the polity. How many people still remember something like dividend of democracy? How many people are really enjoying the dividends of democracy today? Have you been to the grassroots lately? You know, anytime we talk about electorate, my mind goes straight to the grassroots, even though they are not just the only ones that are supposed to enjoy the dividends of democracy, but everyone. Well, that is that on national development. And Mr. Lawal have done justice to that. Let's move on to the second conversation, where we'll be looking at something very, very important this morning. Of course, I have my guests already seated in the studio, and want to talk about something very important, and that is national politics. What's happening right now is the polity. And as a matter of fact, we need to go into that straight ahead. We're looking at national politics. Ruling party to guard against coalition threat. According to President Bola Tinubu, the NEC meeting held yesterday, and so many things happened. It will amaze you to know that apart from the All Progressive Congress holding their NEC meeting yesterday, the People's Democratic Party also had their NEC meeting. But something stood out in that NEC meeting. Well, my guest is already seated. He's a legal practitioner, a public affairs analyst, and a political analyst as well, in the person of Monday. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning.
It's good to be here once again. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, let's get to talk about the NEC meeting, the All Progressive Congress NEC meeting that held yesterday. That is one meeting that came before the meeting. There were a lot of speculations. People were saying so many things. And something stood out for that NEC meeting, unlike other NEC meeting, that the venue had to be shifted. All right, the venue was shifted to Aso Villa. That is the frontage of the president, the seat of power itself. And that's to tell you of how crucial that that NEC meeting was. What for you, when you were hearing of the NEC meeting and the shift, were you speculating anything to the extent that it was shifted to the
Well,
villa?
as somebody who most of the times have to drive through where their office, their headquarters is situated around Wusetu area to Meitama, I don't usually find it personally comfortable when they hold those conventions there, because I'll hold such meetings there, meetings of such magnitude there, because of the traffic it generates and the heavy security presence and all of that. You don't move freely. That's for me. So on a personal note, it was a good one that meeting, the venue was relocated to the villa. But I don't know their reasons for that. I will not want to basically speculate, but I can say maybe the president wants the meeting held there, and they had to move and shift the meeting to that spot. I don't know. Maybe they don't have sufficient room or space at their headquarters to occupy, to take everybody once. I don't know. So, but whatever the reasons are, I believe they are politically strategic. And the meeting has come, it has gone. Matters have arisen as a result of the outcome of the meetings. And I think that meeting has laid a whole lot of foundation for a whole lot of political developments moving forward.
All right. That meeting, we can see that a lot of people speculated so many things about that meeting, as it has to do with the appointment of the new chairman after the resignation of the former chairman, Alhaji Ganduje. And of course, it happened yesterday. They have a new party chairman. And the chairman, one of the things that he said is fixing the party and taking the party to the next level. Let's just hear just a little of what he said yesterday after he got into office.
Okay.
I do not take this mandate for granted. I want to accept it with gratitude and with my full heart and full mind to work together with you to build the party, knowing that all of us here are the mechanics of the party, and the party is our vehicle, and we'll fix it and move it to our destination of choice.
One of the I actually had to cut that, stop it there. We'll fix it and move it. All right. A lot of people, you know, the other parties, all the other parties, like the Labour Party, you know, the issues in the Labour Party, we're going to touch a little bit about it anyway. All the other parties have issues, but one party that a lot of Nigerians feel never had an issue is the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party. So when the new chairman said we will fix the party and move to the next level, what does it mean? Does it mean there have been maybe some issues that did not, maybe the leadership never allow it to escalate, or there were no issues before? But that statement comes with a lot of thought.
This question is beginning to trigger some thoughts in me with respect to political developments preceding the merger that led to the APC. Currently, we are talking about the ADC, right? And we've seen that it has a conglomerate of people from different parties, different background, different political inclinations, and all of that. Now, that was what happened prior to the formation of APC. It's only that I think that of the APC, they did a whole lot of background arrangements, meetings underground before they came out with APC. Now, in APC, you have different factions, in quotes. you have those who are from the ACN extraction, you have those who are from the CPC extraction, you have a little of ABGA, you have here and there, they are there. Now, in that party, if you watch the events under the deceased president, may he so rest in perfect peace, that's His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, deceased, you will see that a particular caucus of the APC held sway. I will say again, a particular caucus of the APC held sway. Those who are pro-CPC got more of the appointments. That was why it looked like it was a northern government. It was our own government. I'm basically from the north. I'm from Kogi. Just to clear the air with respect to my regional background. Now, it was a northern affair. And if you narrow it down, it was basically an Hausa Fulani affair. The nepotism was basically stinking. And then when he left, the people who are in government now are pro-ACN, the ACN faction. And you know, you had some PDP people also in APC. Now, what the caucus that is currently on board did was not to badmouth anybody. They took it as it came and gave their support still to those who were at the end of affairs. Now, fast forward to today. And then, you know, there was the politics of the national chairman. Oshomole was there. Eventually, he was kicked out. I think, what was that elder's name again? Abdullahi was there. And, you know, by the time they were going to settle down for the Tinubu's government, the person that ought to have been the national chairman was supposed to have come from the North Central. Some of us were speculating at the time that the person of His Excellency, the former governor of Nasarawa State, Al-Makura, was going to be the chairman of the party. Now, things turned out in such a way that you had a Muslim president, you had a Muslim vice president, you had the Speaker of the House being a Muslim, you had the Secretary of the party being a Muslim, you had the National Chairman being a Muslim, and basically, you had these people basically from, I think, the Northwest or so. So there has been this agitation. If you recall, people like Daniel Bwala left the APC at that time because of some of these issues, especially the religious imbalance. For reasons best known to His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it was a strategic, it was a game of such for his own presidential bid. And it went on. And that is why I listened to one of the elders, I won't call his name, from the north recently, on one of our brother stations, who said something to the effect that currently there are some decisions that are being taken that are not satisfactory to the Muslim North. And that some of them will begin to feel that at the end of the day, the support they gave was not necessary. So I'm saying this because these are the things that would have made the current national chairman use that word fix. There are a lot of undertones. Can you imagine the exodus from APC by the pro-CPC group to ADC? Ministers who just left, who did 8 years. You know, people like Malami, Amechi and others, they did 8 years as ministers. Or thereabouts. I'm very certain Amechi did his own 8 years complete. I'm also certain, Madam, a lot of them, as we speak today, they are against this current government, and they are, they have joined forces with them in the formation of the ADC. And that was why, if you listen critically to the president in his speech at the NEC meeting, he said something, and some of these comments, you need to have some background knowledge to be able to grasp their essence. He said, those of you that are present are the ones that are absent. I will repeat again, those of you that are present are the ones that are absent. What a paradox. But the meaning of that is that if you watch, it was not a coincidence that many of these parties are having their meetings almost on the same day. You cannot be in two places at the same time now. I don't know if you understand. So if you are present here, it means you are absent there. It means you are with us and you are for us and we can work together. That was the meaning of that statement. Now, before this NEC meeting, Abdullahi Ganduje news came out, he is sickly, he said he is sick, he wants to attend to his health, he can no longer occupy the position of the national chair. But days after, he was given an appointment. Al-Makura too was given an appointment in one of the boards. Now, that took away the contest. It waters down the tension for the office of the national chairman of APC, because Al-Makura, till today, from the grapevines, I spoke with one or two people some time ago, is still interested in that position. And if the information I gathered is correct, he had a conversation with the president with regards to his reservations of having not gotten it. But then they are closing ranks. Ganduje has left. He has an appointment somewhere else. Al-Makura has an appointment somewhere else. So ordinarily speaking, they wouldn't have continued with their bid to be national chairman as at yesterday. Those conversations were had. This man that is there today, this Tinubu we are talking about today, our president, is very deliberate, intentional, and strategic.
All right. Let's get to the. So
there are fixings that need to be done.
Okay, that's you just reacted to the statement that we watched from the newly elected national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, who have so much to do assuming that office. Now, the president have talked about the ruling party to guard against the coalition. But some persons, the coalition threat. Do you see this coalition? Because one, a lot of people are saying the people forming this coalition, the names you just called, Amechi has been in power for a long time. Is it Aregbesola? He's been there. Is it David Mark? You know all the antecedents. Who else? Everyone. Is it Atiku Abubakar? You know how many times he has run once a vice president of this honorable country. Then talk about El-Rufai, who was FCT minister and governor of Kaduna State. So all these people have really been in power. Some persons are saying it is still a recycling that we are having as far as this coalition is concerned. Peter Obi himself, whom Nigerians cannot really point to whether or not he is part of the coalition. Even though he attended the meeting, he has not resigned his appointment from the Labour Party like Atiku did in PDP. Now, do you see all these people? Nigerians are wiser, you know, and that proved itself in the 2023 election. Now, my question is this. The president is saying All Progressive Congress should guard against...
Let's guard against this coalition, even though he eventually tagged it a coalition of confusion. Understands that he is where he is today because he made strategic alliances. He made strategic alliances and on and on and on until he got APC. So whatever the situation is, he understands that you cannot take that arrangement for granted. Taking it for granted will mark the beginning of the end of the APC. Whether we like it or not, the men in that coalition or the men who have expressed intention to use the platform of the ADC to run elections are major political players. They have history, they have political war chests, and bringing all of them, especially those who just left power, a couple of months ago, they have the resources. Some of them still have their structures that they can liaise with, etc., are not people that you can take for granted. Some of them were the founding members and or fathers of the APC that you have today. And many of them have held positions in the last 8 years in APC. So they understand the inner workings of the APC and also understand the thinking, the frame of mind of the electorates they deal with. So if the president, in his speech at the APC NEC meeting yesterday, says, let us guard against the threat of the coalition, he is right. He's very, very politically is correct. Commonsensically, that is what anybody should do. Guard against all of their activities. But for me, the individuals there, from my own perspective, ordinarily shouldn't have any business being there. What point does people, Malami, Amechi, and all the other CPC members that are now shifting to ADC and forming coalition, particularly from the northern hemisphere of this country, what point do they have to prove? What point? I'm not moved by them. I can't cast my votes for any of them. What are you looking for? What's the problem? Why can't there be a generational shift of power? If this coalition, because I'm speaking personally now, I don't have any respect or support or regard for it. If what they are telling us is, oh, we want to hand over power to the next generation of leaders, and therefore we are creating this platform for us to be able to showcase the next generation of leaders that we have mentored to Nigerians to take over from where we have stopped. For crying out loud, 8 years as speaker, 8 years as governor, 8 years as minister, what is the issue? Are they the only ones in this country? And some of them, you were vice president, you were even begged before the president in your time could get a second term ticket. You handled the economy, handled the country. As a vice, that particular vice president has so far been the most powerful vice president in the history of this country. Your principal was sincere in what he did. He was handling the international and global aspect of the job, while he left the local one to you. You did that for about 6 years or so before they started giving you attitude. You moved from the PDP, you went to ACN, you moved from ACN, I think you went to APC or joined PDP again, looking for tickets here and there. What for? Is it that in your whole political career, you have not been able to groom somebody that you can say, oh, let me hand over this baiting to? What am I doing with all of them there? What am I doing with them? You see, so that particular coalition, as far as I'm concerned, and no matter how people perceive it or want to say because of the bias they have for the current leadership or for whoever they have their biases for, doesn't make any meaning to me. And what is it with we northerners? Every time there is a southern president who want to begin to ruffle things, Was it that as Northerners, nothing was wrong with the presidency of the time of President Buhari? Was nothing wrong? Did the South rise in rebellion to go and start creating coalitions here and there? In fact, the betrayal that is involved in their act and the political decisions, even to a person like me, is repulsive. I just cannot contain it. Because even amongst dogs, there is honor. If you have decided to play politics, play it with honor. Play it in line with the code and ethics. In that 8 years, any of them should tell me when, at any time, the current president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, spoke against Buhari's policies. No, once, if there was any time. Or gather people together to rebel against the arrangement they put in place.
What of during Jonathan? Was there anything like that? I can't remember.
Yes, during Jonathan is understandable. They are ACN, they are in the opposition. You know, they always say they spoke a lot about electricity, how they were going to fix it in 6 months, how they were going to take off subsidies, or whatever it is, how they occupied Nigeria. And you know, a lot of things people have said that there have been speculations here and there, allegedly, that the current president sponsored a whole lot of those opposition movements at the time. And it's permissible, it's politics. But when you are in a party, and we are in a party together, I gave you support, or you gave me support, and it is time for me to reciprocate, and I begin to act funny, I want to begin to form alliances. It's hypocritical. It is a betrayal of trust amongst that particular, in the whole of them. The person I can say, oh, and I thank God is, now we don't even know if he's in it anymore, is Peter Obi. He doesn't have any ungodly or unholy arrangement. He has never had it with any of them, with any of this particular group of persons. And if what his running mate said on one of the platforms some days ago, that they were invited for a meeting, the insinuation for me, if I want to paraphrase, is that they were invited for a meeting. They actually didn't have a full gist of what it was. They went there and they heard what they heard and so on and so forth. So when I saw him speaking and meeting with Abure's faction and talking about reconciliation, I already knew I can, put one and one together and tell you right away that Peter Obi and his group are one leg in, one leg out.
That's in the coalition?
Yes, in the coalition. They are one leg into the coalition and one leg out. Because as far as I know, and it is a proper thing to think, if Atiku does not contest now, that means we'll be talking about maybe 2030 or 20-something for him to be able to contest, if at all the person that is coming. Because these elections we are talking about is for 2027. Now 2027, 4 years is 2031. So that would be like 6 years. Add it to his age. And that is if the person that will win 2027 is going to do one term, assuming the opposition wins. So if you add 8 years to his current age, what age will he be at the time? So if we are telling him not to contest, we are telling him to bury his ambition. And that is a personal decision for him to take. And he has the constitutional right to contest an election. So you can see where the difficulties are. Amaechi too is still interested in contesting from the way he's sounding. Look at what they did at the next meeting in APC. Consensus. Anytime they want to do anything, they will talk and consult and discuss and then agree. Even if you are opposed to it, somehow you get to agree to it. Can that be heard of these other platforms that we have? Look at Labour Party. What is it? What is the big deal in what they are talking about? Abure wants to be national chairman. Is national chairman ad infinitum? Is it forever and ever? No. If your constitution says 2 years, allow him now to do the 2 years now in whatever he wants to do, and then go ahead and get a convention put in place. That same argument and all of that was what dragged PDP to where it is today. Thank God, PDP now, they are getting their acts together. they are coming together to say, oh, let us allow this thing to phase out. I heard one of them say the other day that the current leaders, their tenure will lapse in May 20, I think, is it May 2026 or so, which is close and by the corner. So if somebody is insisting that I'm the National Publicity Secretary, that it is time bound. Instead of stretching and doing litigation and doing fisticuffs here, allow it pass. It's a phase. That is the logical thing to do. But when people start, please permit me to use this as jargon, this I no go gree that attitude to things. That is why you have all of these crises everywhere.
All right, we are trying to round up now. At the NEC meeting yesterday, there was something the president said that I want to peek at now, and let's just watch the clip of what he said, and we'll just talk about that for 2-3 minutes, and we'll be done with the program.
All right.
Wobbling, confused, is today stabilized, and we are making progress. One of our ardent critics at the earlier part of this administration reported the stride in the revenue, 43% achievement by now. I'm proud to say that the team is working. And for you, you've done so much for our party, encouraging and supporting us. With peace, stability, we will do more. The administration's commitment to renew the hope of Nigerians is clear.
You heard that from the president, of course. Now, what the president is trying to say is, he is appreciating the people. He's appreciating the people to say, well, they've done well. Talking up to the NEC now, the governor, current serving and current past and all of that. And he said something about the economy, growth in our economy, irrespective of the hunger in the land. In just 2-3 minutes, he's always telling us there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Is it better than when they first came into office? Just in 2 minutes, we'll be done.
You know, there are two ways of looking at economic situations of countries. There is the book and theoretical aspect of it, where you have them measuring the economy of countries by economic indicators. And then there's the masses aspect of it, where you talk about whether the income people are earning, whether that income is sufficient to cater for their needs, to put food on their table, get them fees, get them to pay their rents, to pay their children's school fees, and so on and so forth. Now, what most people earn today, because Nigeria is basically a public and civil servant country, what they earn today, what the civil and public servants earn today, cannot cater for their needs. In fact, I keep asking those of them that are my friends, how do you guys even still manage to go to work? So in that regard, I will not say the current government is doing fine. The past one did not. None of them has achieved it.
Okay, that's
none of them has achieved.
That's the bottom line for me.
That's the bottom line.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister, for coming on.
But I need to say this.
Okay, go ahead.
There is another aspect of all that you have said with respect to the economy, and that's the phrase economic stability. Okay. If you ask me if the economy is stable, I will say yes. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, for those who do business, they understand what I'm saying. Who import, who manufacture, and so on. Your economy is stable, for example, if you can be able to make economic projections and plan a business. It's not like before that you can order for your goods now from China, for example. and your budget is say $10. Before that goods get here, that $10 will no longer be sufficient to handle it. It might not even be sufficient to handle the clearing and forwarding aspect of it. So why? Because dollar, the forex is not stable.
All right.
So, but now you can comfortably project 1,500, 17. Okay, and then
you can just fix the range.
Yes,
and do your
business. That's stability.
Right. Well, stability in the economy. Even though we are not where we want to be yet, at least we are moving. Just like the president said during the NEC meeting, and he said he's proud of it. All right, that's a growth to an extent. Thank you very much, Barrister, for joining us on Global Morning today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right, viewers, we will go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and see how we can bring Global Morning to a close. Stay with us. It's good to have you back. Well, it's been a smooth sail. I told us from the beginning that we have a lot for you on Global Morning today. You now know what's happening in the polity and how the people at the grassroots, the electorates are feeling, and of course, the NEC meeting and a lot of expectations. We'll keep you abreast with the developments from the NEC meeting and everything happening in the polity on Global Television. Many thanks for staying with us on the Global Morning today. Global Morning still continues, and that's going to be tomorrow. My name is Ramsey Enoch Abu.
And I am Jumai Manzin. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. Have an amazing day. From Ramsey and I, we say bye-bye.